From getting exposed for having malware to beating Gorilla Tagging players, these are the most loved versus most hated Gorilla Tag fan games. And we're starting with Capuchin. Released on July 7th, Capuchin was one of the first Gorilla Tag fan games. As soon as the game was released, it saw rapid growth, but it started losing players. That wasn't until on September 7th, 2022, a YouTuber by the name of JManCurly uploaded a video on the game. JManCurly was one of the biggest Gorilla Tag YouTubers at the time, having hundreds of thousands of subscribers, so it really boosted the game popularity. And the game was doing great. It had hundreds of players and people were really enjoying the game. And on December 3rd, 2022, JManCurly uploaded another video on the game. And not long before this, Capuchin added horror to the game. This was one of the first Gorilla Tag fan games to add horror, and it's the game that popularized it. After uploading the video, the game blew up again. The game was doing amazing and had even more players than Gorilla Tag at the time. And not long after, JManCurly uploaded another video, and everyone was talking about the game, but then something terrible happened. Capuchin got shut down. Everyone was devastated and they didn't know what happened. And then people kind of forgot about the game. But then in 2024, the game got released again. But after coming back, the game was just different and people didn't really like it. Capuchin is loved amongst the community, but you can't say the same about this next fan game. Gorilla Tag Mobile is something that's been talked about for a very long time, and on September 7th, 2024, an announcement was made that would change Gorilla Tag forever. There was an announcement for a mobile Gorilla Tag, but there was a problem. This game wasn't actually made by the same people that made Gorilla Tag, and the person behind it was up to something. During October 2024, everyone was talking about mobile Gorilla Tag. There were hundreds of videos being made on it, and at the end of October 2024, it finally happened. Gorilla Tag Mobile was released. Immediately, thousands of people got the game, and everyone was loving it, but there was a dark secret behind the game. After about a week of the game being released, people were saying a lot of weird things about it. There were hundreds of people claiming that the game had malware, and that's when everyone discovered that this wasn't just a normal game. There were reports of people's phones breaking and getting viruses, and after only a month of being released, the game got taken off the App Store. This game had a very negative impact on the community, but this next game is quite the opposite. On July 18th, 2024, a game was released that revolutionized Gorilla Tag fan games. This game added a bunch of mechanics and features that no other fan game had. This game is Yeeps. The main feature in Yeeps is building. No other fan game had a good building feature, so this made the game blow up instantly. A bunch of the biggest Gorilla Tag content creators were making videos on the game, and there were even new creators that made videos just on Yeeps. Everyone was talking about this game, and it got so big that it got released on the official Meta Store. This game had a lot of updates and a very active community. There were new features all the time, and you could do whatever you wanted. After being released, the Yeeps community just kept growing. There were a bunch of big creators on the game, and eventually it got so big that they released a plush. This plush did really well, and a lot of people bought it. Yeeps is known for having an amazing community and great developers, but you can't say the same about this next fan game. There was a fan game released on April 26, 2024, but this game had a problem. This game looked a lot like Gorilla Tag, but there was a twist. Everything in the game was identical to Gorilla Tag, but made out of Lego, and no one had seen a fan game like this before, so it blew up instantly. Everyone was making videos on the game, and I mean everyone. The game was doing super well, and everyone was loving it, but there was a major problem behind the game. Gorilla Tag has an open source movement, which means everyone can use it, but Gorilla Tag's map isn't, and another Axiom didn't like this, so the developers of BrickTag had to take the game down. But there was a secret behind the development team. On August 10th, 2024, a video was released called How I Made BrickTag, and the video was made by one of the biggest Gorilla Tag YouTubers, VMT. And he shocked everyone, but another Axiom didn't like this, so they took away VMT's finger painter. But before uploading this video, BrickTag had an update, and they completely revamped the game so it didn't look too much like Gorilla Tag. But another Axiom was still mad. On July 3rd, 2024, Animal Company was released. Animal Company was inspired by a game called Lethal Company, and Lethal Company was very popular at the time, so this game blew up instantly. This game was unlike any other fan game. It had a bunch of crazy maps, monsters, and even weapons. All these unique features helped boost the game's popularity, and a bunch of big Gorilla Tag content creators made videos on the game. Animal Company kept getting crazier and crazier updates. They added new maps, new monsters, and they even added cosmetics. The game just kept growing. Videos on the game were getting hundreds of thousands of views, and the game just kept getting crazy updates. They added insane maps and even mining to the game. This game had a lot of effort put into it and was very enjoyable, but this next game is a different story. Since its release on July 13th, 2023, Scary Baboon has become one of the biggest Gorilla Tag fan games. But this game has a dark secret. As soon as Scary Baboon was released, it got popular. A bunch of the biggest Gorilla Tag content creators were making videos on the game. Scary Baboon was doing amazing. It was getting constant updates, it had a Discord server with over 50,000 members, and the game even got 1 million downloads. But then something happened with one of the developers that changed the game forever. A lot of screenshots of one of the developers being rude were being spread spread around. People instantly started hating the game and it lost a lot of players. It seemed like the game was never going to go back to the way it was, and the developers had to do something about it. So they decided to completely revamp the game, but they didn't get the reaction they were expecting. The revamp was terrible. Everyone started hating on the game even more, and the game started losing players rapidly. And this wasn't the first time the Scary Baboon developers had controversy, because not too long after the game's release, they were accused of stealing assets from another fan game. And while this game has went from being one of the biggest to one of the smallest Gorilla Tag fan games, this next game is a completely different story. On June 26, 2023, one of the biggest Gorilla Tag fan games was released. Big Scare has become one of the most beloved Gorilla Tag fan games, with hundreds of content creators and a big development team. This was one of the first Gorilla Tag fan games to revolve completely around horror. Once the game was released, it didn't see much growth. That wasn't until on September 11, 2023, J-Man Curly uploaded a video on the game. The video instantly boosted the game's popularity, and people were really enjoying the game. As the game grew, there were more and more creators. The game kept getting updates, and people were always excited to see what came next. Not too long later, the owner of Big Scary Shrek made an announcement. He announced a new map called Voxel Horror. Everyone was making videos on this, and the hype just kept growing and growing. And once it got released, everyone was super happy. People were really enjoying the game and having a fun time. But now the game's slowly dying, and it seems like Big Scary is not going to go back to the way it was before.